Look at this house. A traditional real estate investor sees a project that requires a hefty down payment, an ironclad credit score, and a significant tolerance for financial risk. But what if you have the drive to take on a property like this, but you lack the bank account to back it up? You face a choice. You can spend years saving $50,000 just to earn a seat at the table, or you can find a faster point of entry. That alternate route is wholesaling. It bypasses the traditional mortgage process and removes the need for a massive down payment. Instead of buying the house, you find a distressed property and sign a contract to buy it. Then you sell that exact contract, the legal paperwork, to an investor who has the cash on hand. This distinction matters for legal reasons. Selling a property on behalf of someone else requires a real estate license. Selling your own legal rights to a contract does not. By shifting the focus from the property to the paperwork, you trade financial risk for operational hustle. It's an accessible path into the real estate market for investors starting with zero capital. To execute this, you have to rethink your objective. You are in the business of acquiring contracts, not physical assets. The process starts with locating an off-market home in poor condition. We're talking about properties with severe damage or outdated systems, homes in such rough shape that a traditional bank will refuse to issue a mortgage for them. When you find one, you use specific contingency clauses in your paperwork to lock the property under agreement, often with zero money down. Once that document is signed, you hold the exclusive legal right to purchase that specific home at the agreed-upon price. But that signature starts a clock. You immediately enter a strict 14 to 30-day window where you have to assign that contract to someone else. If you hit day 30 and you haven't lined up an investor with cash ready to go, the agreement expires and the deal collapses. This flowchart outlines exactly how you get paid. The contract moves from the distressed seller to you, and then you assign it to a cash buyer. In exchange for those purchase rights, that buyer pays you an assignment fee. Professional wholesalers specialize in the curation of discounted purchase rights, delivering pre-packaged opportunities that investors can step into immediately. Knowing how wholesaling works is only half the equation. You need to weigh it directly against the traditional path of fixing and flipping. This comparison matrix breaks down the operational differences between the two strategies across capital requirements, timelines, and daily skill sets. For capital risk, flippers take on high-interest mortgages and renovation liabilities. Wholesalers use contract contingencies to maintain near-zero financial exposure. But that lack of financial risk is offset by the operational requirement of finding your end customer. Successful wholesalers build an active network of cash buyers long before placing a property under contract. Looking at the primary skill set row, a wholesaler spends time on networking and sales. A flipper focuses on operations, managing contractors and construction schedules. Wholesaling removes the burden of construction and debt. In exchange, it requires managing a high-speed, high-rejection sales cycle. Once a property is secured, the day-to-day execution of these two models diverges completely. As a wholesaler, you never swing a hammer or oversee a plumbing inspection. You pass the property along exactly as it sits. Because you skip the renovation phase, you get paid quickly. Most wholesale transactions close within 7 to 14 days. This timeline illustrates the difference in payout speeds. The wholesaler cashes out a moderate fee in under 2 weeks. The flipper must endure months of holding costs and construction before seeing a profit. There is a trade-off for that speed. By avoiding the renovation risk, you surrender the back-end equity the flipper earns when they sell the finished home. When assignment fees get large enough, wholesalers sometimes use an advanced tactic to protect their margins, known as the double close. You will briefly purchase the property using short-term transactional funding, and then immediately resell it to your end buyer. This masks your profit margin, though you will pay 2 separate rounds of closing costs. Because the profit on a single wholesale deal is capped by the need for speed, high-volume execution is the only way to build significant wealth in this model. This quadrant chart maps these strategies directly to your resources, plotting your available capital against your available time. If your goal is passive income, or if you dislike daily sales, you should avoid wholesaling entirely. Investors with plenty of capital but very little free time belong in the cash buyer category. They let others do the hunting. The ideal candidate for wholesaling is an ambitious beginner with high drive, low capital, and a tolerance for active work. Wholesaling serves as an environment to learn how to identify below market deals and build a capital reserve without taking on debilitating debt. But stepping into this new role reveals a very practical hurdle: generating a consistent flow of distressed property leads. You can spend hours driving through neighborhoods looking for rundown houses, but every hour spent hunting is an hour you aren't actually negotiating a deal. To solve this, successful operators use platforms like GetSellers.io to bypass the manual labor and pipe motivated seller leads directly into their pipeline. Even with leads flowing, you will eventually hit an operational ceiling when you try to scale from one deal a month to 10. Trying to simultaneously manage incoming leads, drafting multiple contracts, and coordinate multiple cash buyers will eventually break a solo operator. When you hit that point, partnering with an agency like Hessel Media provides the marketing and operational infrastructure required to grow volume aggressively. High-volume wholesaling functions as a specialized acquisitions engine, providing the inventory of distressed properties that larger investment firms rely on to scale their operations.